Hey, it's Nicola, and today I'm gonna be talking about the project permissions. So, first things first, when it comes to the project permissions, these are going to be the permissions for the company managed projects. And each permission for the company managed projects is actually managed by the permission scheme that actually is managed only by the Jira admins. So, how do we manage this? So, we go to the project settings and then we go to the permissions. Within the permissions, we have these permissions right here that it's saying project permissions. As Jira admin, you're going to be doing this a lot. So you're going to be assigning the roles to the users within the project so they can have the needed access for the projects. And of course, based on the roles, they can do some certain things. Okay, first thing to mention, when it comes to the permissions themselves, you always want to add your users to the specific role. Now, you don't want to add individual users. You don't want to add individual users the permissions. That's a very bad practice. You can use groups, but even Atlassian has said that the roles, the project roles themselves are more scalable to use as your user base in the project start to grow. First, project permission. Administer the projects. This is something when your users are having this permission within the project roles, and as you can see, we have the project roles of administrators. So this user right here that I've added them as administrators. So this is this user. So that means they can administer this whole project, which actually makes them a project admin. The question is what the project admin can do. First of all, they can edit some project details. And when I say some project details, as project admins, now you're going to see that there are actually some of the things that I can do because I'm more than a project admin in here and I have more rights. Project admins by default, okay, so this goes by default. Alright, so I'm going to be referencing to this one. So I'm going to be focusing on the permissions here. So this is the project admin. This user only has the project admin and this is the regular user. The thing that you actually saw in here, they can edit some project details. They cannot edit the project key and they cannot edit the category as well. So this is something that puts the project admins in limited state. So they cannot do much things. They can add people to the project. Yes, they can. And they can also assign them to the specific roles. This is something that they can do. But the thing like changing the permissions, changing the notifications, changing the workflows, they cannot actually do that. Well, basically for editing the workflows, that should be possible to do with the edit workflow permission. Okay, then when you have edit workflow permission, when you have add the project role of administrators, then they would be able to actually do this. But as far as I'm concerned here, I don't see that option right here. Let me try to find it. So edit workflows, nothing pops. So what project admins can do as well, they can remove people from the project too, but when it comes to the permissions, they cannot change the scheme here. Only the Jira admins can do this. And as you can see, these are the differences in here, because I can edit the permissions and I can use a different scheme. And if you have, this is a good practice, when you have different permissions on your project, it is a good idea to create a new permission scheme and apply that to your project, because when you change the default software scheme, it's going to be applicable to all of the projects that are using the default software scheme. So you want to be cautious about that. So also, you know, they cannot change, project admins, they cannot change the scheme for the notification. The thing that they can do is they can create the automation rules. Okay, they can create the automation rules. When it comes to also the features part, they can also, so they can also, if they want, they can turn on the deployments, for example, as the feature, and there are going to be deployments as well. So they can manage features as well. Tool chain, well, basically this is something that here, this is the option. So there is a request. So there is a request here, and in here I have install. And why is this? Who can actually install the apps within your Jira? Site admin can actually do this, number one. Number two, organization admin can install the apps. This user, since they're the regular project administrator, they cannot install the apps. Workflows. When it comes to the workflows as well, in here they don't have the action to change the workflow. They can change the actual layouts, and when it comes to changing the layouts, it's like changing the these fields right here, just changing how they will be showing. But to change the actual screen here, where you can add the fields and remove them from the screen, they cannot do that. Same thing goes for the fields. Same thing when it comes to the collectors, by the way, they can create the issue collectors. And they can also create the components, and they cannot manage the issue security schemes, because this is something that only Jira admins can do. All right. So that is for the administer projects permission. Second permission, browse projects. So you can have the administer projects and you can be the project administrator, but if you don't have the browse projects permission added where your role is being added there, you're not going to be able to see the projects within the projects navigation bar. So you're not going to be able to do that. You're also not going to be able to see all the issues that are within those specific projects. So that is something that is important, because this browse projects permission is really important to have, because there are a lot of other permissions that are depending on this one specifically. Like, let's say add comments. Add comments need to have the browse projects permission, because users need to be able to add the comments to that specific project, because if they only have the add comments permission, it's going to be useless. So there's not much to do when it comes to manage sprints. And now it's saying by default this is being set to any logged in user. Now actually you want to limit this, because when it comes to managing the sprints, so first of all, this is mostly used in Scrum. So what actually this means? This means that you have like the ability to start the sprint, you have the ability to edit the sprint, you also have the option to add the issues from the backlog to your active sprint as well. So that is something that you can also do with the manage sprints permission. And also when it comes to managing the sprints and when you're adding the issues and everything like that, so you have also the backlog of your Scrum project, and within your backlog you want to move the issues around, like let's say based on the priority, right? You want to prioritize from the highest to the lowest, because this is following the agile principles, right? So in order to actually do this, you need to have, first of all, issue ranking enabled within your project. That is one thing that you can actually do by configuring your board. And also you have to have two permissions, which are going to be the edit of the issues and also scheduling of the issues. But I'm actually telling you this because this is all part, this also can be part of the specific sprint. Now it's saying service project agent allows users to interact with customers and access Jira service management features of a specific project. This shouldn't actually be here. I don't know why this is actually here, because this is a software project. This is not a Jira service management project. And you have like Atlassian add-ons project access. And this is for the project role. So for this one, if you're encountering with this and it's your software project, this is not your Jira service management project, you can just revoke this immediately. So for the managed sprints, you want to think about this, who you actually want to give this to. The great example for this would be for yourself to create a project role named Scrum Master, because they should be the ones who are managing your sprints, right? And then you add your users with the Scrum Master role so they can manage the sprints. Okay, view aggregated data. So what actually this aggregated data is? So now it's saying users with permission will have access to view combined and summarized project data and everything else. So it's like this summary section right here. But viewing the aggregated data is mostly focused on viewing your insights, and viewing your insights within your backlog, within your boards, and with your deployment view. So that's why there are some insights, and these are your insights right here. So when you actually click on here, it's saying to you like issues for intention, which are stuck, which are blocked, and which ones are flagged. So these are the aggregated data. So that permission is for that. If your team actually needs to see that aggregated data. Okay, the next project permission is view development tools. Now, to view development tools is to actually view some certain things such as commits, reviews, and build information. So in here, by the default, it's also being set to be for any logged in user. Now, I'm not sure that you want for any logged in user to be able to view the commits, to view the pull requests, to view the branches. It just doesn't fit. But if the browse project's permission is limited only to some certain users within your project that have a specific project role, then it's okay. But then again, this any logged in user, to actually see this, I would actually change this, and I would put this to be for a different role, just like, for example, developers, that your developers should be able to see all of the information that is related to that. So that is any other thing. And the last but not least, the view read only workflows. So what actually this is when you go for your issue, and within your issue you can actually see what is the workflow of this issue. So that is when you click on your status and you just see the workflow and how does it look. That is the whole idea of this permission. Of course, if you want to limit this only for your some specific users, you can actually do this as well. But if those specific users don't have that permission of editing the workflows, this isn't really like concerning. This you can really limit if you don't really want anyone to see what are going to be the statuses. But then again, those users are going to go through those statuses, and they're going to see basically those statuses within your board, right? Because your statuses are actually mapped with your columns. So this permission shouldn't actually be really the problem. Maybe you can even leave it to be any logged in user as well. But those are the project permissions. Okay, that is everything for this video. See you guys in the next video, and it's going to be for the Jira administration as well. See ya. Bye bye.